big problem that is taking place, or the big challenge that digitalization is bringing, is that you have a new set of competitors, which are not really the competitors that you had in your industry. If you're an advertising agency, you have the Googles and the Microsofts of this world, which are tremendously well funded competitors with deep pockets. The rules are not really established, are yet on the making. We are going to a market with new players, with new business models, with new metrics, with new revenue models, and probably demanding a new type of professional to do this kind of activity. And how do you really understand this when the target is constantly moving? Demographics can be discussed in at least 2 or 3 dimensions. One is the change in the center of gravity of decision making. Traditionally, we have had the marketing industry and the communications model being driven by an Anglo-Saxon intent with some additions coming from westernized, industrialized economies such as the European ones. Well, this is not anymore the case. The world of mass marketing is going to grow in emerging economies. This is one thing. The other thing is that aging of population has been, aging of boomers has been sort of the leg in the door of the complete expansion of digitalization, because we have given a life expectancy increase check to these boomers, which have grown 9 years in longevity in the last 30 or 40 years. So that means that as soon as this group stops being the key driver of mass markets, and you have a more digital native consumer entering the picture, you're also going to have more digitalization. You have emerging industries, you have media fragmentation as another important trend. That the traditional creative is going to have to find very creative ways of putting its act together, because the level of competition that you have when the thing becomes completely widespread and consumers are the ones that create the content around brands is probably going to be one of the biggest risks. In media buying, which is another of the dimensions, I think that this is a phenomenal opportunity for media buying agencies, which are going to be the sweethearts of this industry in the next years, after being the number crunching nerd type of contributor to the marketing industry. And this is because this huge media proliferation and this change in the origin of the budgets is making where do you put the resources and how do you use creatively media the center of the competitive strength that marketers have to develop. So as media become widespread, as they become so heterogeneous, and you have different revenue models and different payment formulas and different skills needed, the role of someone that is able to integrate this and put this together is more and more important. Some of this business, the more tactical aspects of the business, are going to be probably commoditized. So automatization that may come from new tools developed and from exploiting or taking leverage on the web in order to reduce costs to serve and production costs of the areas of media planning and budget allocation. This more commodity and tactical aspect, this is probably going to be affected to the negative, but the possibility of broadening the scope of the services that the media agencies give and adding more value in what is the more high value added components, strategic components of the media buying task is probably also positive. The case of market research has a risk, which is the risk of breaching the intimacy of people by knowing absolutely everything that they do. I think that the model of the market research based on snooping or spying what the consumer does is probably one that is obsolete and on ways of extinction. It's going to be a fantastic moment for this business, for this industry, changes its profile completely, and has advantages for very large companies as well for very small companies that come with ideas and are able to gain the trust of consumers so that they can gain some kind of insights that they can trade, probably benefiting at the same time these consumers, because otherwise I don't see. I see that there would have to be some intervention to protect this intimacy from people that do not want to trade about it.